It's overheating. I need to check the hose.
Is it serious? Can we fix it?
Maybe. Let me see.
Hurry, please.
The horn wouldn't stop. It screamed through the morning air, long, angry, relentless. Daniel Brooks' hands tightened around the steering wheel as traffic on the interstate collapsed into chaos. Brake lights flickered like red lightning ahead. Drivers swerved violently into the next lane. His dashboard clock glowed. 8:52 a.m. The interview was at 9:30. His chest felt tight. He had calculated every minute, dropped Lily off at 8:10, accounted for traffic, left early, wore his only suit. This was the opportunity. Up ahead, a silver luxury sedan sat crooked in the middle lane. Steam rose from beneath the hood like smoke from a warning flare. Cars flew past it. Too fast. And then he saw her. A woman in her early 40s stood beside the disabled vehicle, elegant posture, long coat, hair pulled back neatly. But she wasn't calm. Her movements betrayed panic. She stepped toward oncoming traffic, waving, then recoiled as a pickup truck blasted past her door, barely missing it. Someone shouted from another vehicle. No one stopped. Daniel's pulse pounded in his ears. He looked again at the clock. 8:54. He imagined Lily's voice that morning. "You'll get it, Dad, I know you will." He imagined pancakes tonight if he did. He imagined rent being paid on time for once. The woman stumbled backward as another SUV whipped by. Daniel exhaled slowly. "Please, someone stop," he whispered. No one did. He flicked on his hazard lights. Drivers behind him exploded in frustration, horns erupting like gunfire. He ignored them. He pulled onto the shoulder. The roar of traffic was deafening as he stepped out. "Ma'am," he called. She turned, relief flashing across her face, quickly masked by composure. "My engine overheated," she said. "It just shut down." Daniel removed his charcoal gray jacket, the one he had pressed 3 times that morning, and folded it carefully over his passenger seat. He walked toward the hood. Heat radiated outward when he lifted it. Steam burst upward. He didn't flinch. He had worked around engines most of his life. "Coolant hose slipped," he muttered, "and you're nearly empty." She watched him, studying him. "You know what you're doing." "I used to supervise fleet logistics," he said, tightening the clamp with steady fingers. "Engines aren't complicated, they just need attention." The irony nearly made him smile. Engines just needed attention. So did people. He worked fast. Every second felt like sand draining from an hourglass. When the hose was secured and he helped push the vehicle safely onto the shoulder, he wiped his hands with a rag from his trunk. "You can make it to a service station," he said. "Drive slow, don't push it." She exhaled. "Thank you," she said sincerely. "You probably had somewhere important to be." He glanced at his watch. 9:41 a.m. He felt it in his stomach before he saw it. He had missed it. He smiled anyway. We all do. When he arrived at the glass office building downtown, the receptionist gave him a sympathetic look before he even spoke. "The panel has concluded the morning session," she said gently. Daniel nodded once. "It's okay." It was. On the train ride home, he stared at his reflection in the window, suit wrinkled now, knuckles red from heat. He had chosen to help. And it had cost him everything. That night, Lily hugged him as always. "How did it go?" "It went okay," he said. She squeezed him tighter. "You're still my hero." He swallowed. Heroes didn't miss their only chance. He didn't know yet. The real turning point hadn't even arrived. If you were the one witnessing this first moment, what would you have done? Before the full story continues, please consider subscribing. I worked incredibly hard to craft this story just for you. Daniel Brooks used to sleep 8 hours a night. That was before hospital corridors, before machines that beeped in uneven rhythms, before holding his wife's hand and whispering promises he wasn't sure he could keep. 3 years ago, cancer took her slowly. Too slowly. He remembered Lily asking, "When is Mommy coming home?" He remembered not having an answer. After that, life became logistics. Wake at 5:30. Make breakfast. Pack lunch. Practice spelling words. Braid hair badly at first, better later. Learn how to stretch every dollar until it nearly screamed. Daniel had once been a warehouse supervisor, respected, steady, experienced. When the company downsized, he was told it was purely strategic. Strategy didn't pay rent. Months of applications followed. Each rejection chipped something away. But he never let Lily see it. Every morning before school, she wrapped her small arms around him. "You're my hero, Dad." He wished she knew how scared he felt sometimes. That interview with Sterling Operations Group wasn't just another job. It was oxygen, stability, art classes for Lily. No more choosing between groceries and utilities. That morning, he polished his shoes until they reflected light. Meanwhile, the woman from the highway, Rebecca Sterling, had woken in a penthouse overlooking the city. Her world operated in boardrooms and strategic acquisitions. Assistants scheduled her life down to 5-minute increments. People treated her carefully, measured their words, smiled strategically. She had built her company from the ground up after watching her father's small distribution business collapse when she was 23. She learned early, no one rescues you. You build your own ladder. Yet on that highway, stranded without title or introduction, she had been invisible. Cars sped past her without hesitation. No one knew who she was. No one cared. Except Daniel. He hadn't known. He hadn't calculated. He hadn't asked what she did. He had simply helped. That mattered more than she expected. That night in her quiet penthouse office, she reviewed interview candidate profiles. Degrees, certifications, experience, but none of them had done what he did. She leaned back slowly. Leadership isn't tested in conference rooms. It's tested when something inconvenient happens. And no one is watching. Which part of their past or personality touched your heart the most? The next morning, Daniel was packing Lily's lunch when headlights washed across the living room walls. He frowned. No one visited. Certainly not in a black luxury SUV. Neighbors peeked through curtains. Daniel stepped outside cautiously. The woman from the highway stepped out, but she was different now. Tailored navy suit. Composed authority. Confidence that didn't ask permission. "My name is Rebecca Sterling," she said. "I'm the CEO of Sterling Operations Group." The words landed heavy. Daniel blinked. "I was on my way to observe final candidates yesterday," she continued, "when my car broke down." He stared. "You missed your interview because you helped me." Lily peeked from behind the doorframe. Rebecca handed him a folder. He opened it slowly. Official offer. Senior leadership position. Salary nearly double what he expected. Full benefits. Stock options. Daniel's breath caught. "This must be a mistake." "It isn't," she replied. "Character isn't something you list on a resume. It's something you demonstrate." Inside Sterling Operations, however, not everyone celebrated. Marcus Hale, Senior VP of Strategy, watched Rebecca's decision with narrowed eyes. He had expected the promotion, or at least someone he could control. Not a widowed, warehouse supervisor pulled from obscurity. Based on what metric? He asked in the boardroom. Integrity, Rebecca answered calmly. Marcus forced a polite smile. But resentment simmered. Daniel stepped into a world of glass walls and unspoken politics. Whispers followed him. Highway hire. Charity case. He felt it. Every look. Every half-smile. Every meeting where he wasn't sure if he belonged. Meanwhile, Lily struggled quietly at school. She missed her mother during school events. Daniel missed meetings when teachers called. He was torn between two worlds. Opportunity was here, but so was pressure. And Marcus began testing him. Minor shipment delays were pinned on Daniel's department. Budget errors exaggerated. Rumors circulated quietly. The first wave of tension had begun. Daniel lay awake at night wondering, did I step into something bigger than me? If you were in their exact position, would you choose to help or walk away? Late one evening, Daniel remained in the office long after others left. Rebecca found him reviewing logistics projections. You don't have to prove yourself every minute, she said. He didn't look up. I do, he replied quietly. She sat across from him. My father lost everything because he trusted the wrong people, she said. I built this company so no one would ever feel that powerless again. Daniel finally met her eyes. My wife passed 3 years ago, he said. I promised her I'd give Lily stability. For the first time, vulnerability filled the room. Two people who understood loss. Two builders. Rebecca began mentoring him directly. Daniel began transforming warehouse morale. He knew names, asked about families, fixed problems instead of assigning blame. Employees noticed. Loyalty grew. Even some executives softened. Kindness was spreading. Marcus Hale wasn't finished. A major national contract was up for renewal, millions in revenue. Marcus quietly manipulated supply data, making Daniel's division appear inefficient. Board members began questioning Rebecca's judgment. You hired based on emotion, one snapped. Pressure mounted. Then disaster struck. A critical shipment failed compliance inspection. Media caught wind. Stock dipped. Marcus subtly implied Daniel's inexperience caused it. Rebecca faced the board alone. Give me 48 hours, she demanded. Daniel worked nonstop. Reviewed data. Spoke to employees. And discovered the truth. The compliance failure had been triggered by altered internal routing codes, changes only Marcus's department had authority to implement. Proof. But confronting him meant war. Daniel stood in the boardroom, heart pounding. He presented the evidence calmly. No accusations. Just facts. Silence filled the room. Marcus's composure cracked. Trust shifted. The storm wasn't over. But truth had surfaced. Do you think they should stay and fight, or run and survive? Weeks later, Rebecca called Daniel into her office. The city skyline glowed behind her. She placed a small velvet box on the desk. Inside was a silver key, engraved with the company's emblem. My father gave me this when we opened our first warehouse, she said softly. It symbolizes stewardship, protection, responsibility. Daniel's throat tightened. I can't accept something that meaningful. She slid it toward him. You already did. At home, Lily traced the key with her small fingers. It's like a treasure key, she whispered. It's a trust key, Daniel replied. He finally believed something new. Maybe heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they just stop on highways. Marcus, desperate, attempted one final move. He leaked manipulated financial projections to an industry blog, attempting to trigger investor panic. Phones exploded with calls. Stock trembled. Rebecca stood in the emergency meeting room, fury controlled. Daniel rallied department heads. Employees he had once helped now stepped forward. Emails surfaced. Audit trails exposed. The truth became undeniable. In a dramatic emergency board session, Marcus was removed effective immediately. Silence followed. Then relief. Daniel hadn't just survived. He had protected the company. 1 year later, Lily stood proudly in her after-school art showcase. Paint on her hands, confidence in her smile. Daniel watched from the front row, no longer worried about rent. Rebecca attended quietly in the back, applauding. Later that evening, Daniel placed the silver key in a small wooden box beside Lily's drawings. He understood something now. The interview he missed wasn't lost. It was replaced. Because sometimes the opportunity meant for you arrives disguised as inconvenience. And sometimes the smallest act of kindness unlocks the biggest door. What powerful lesson did you take away from this story today?